What's up, people of the world? This is me, Alex Swimmer, aka AK3 Jumped, and today I'm reviewing a new Lotus episode. Well, it's not that new anymore. It's premiered last Saturday, so I'm a little late on this review. I apologize for that. But anyway, I'm reviewing the episode Rocket Men. Now, this is a very interesting episode. First off, I love the title reference to it's of course in direct reference to the it's actually the yeah the it's actually almost exactly the same as the title of the song Rocket Man, the singular word, by of course by Elton John. Yeah, I do like that song. I haven't heard it in a very long time, so I'll have to listen to it again. Rocket Man. Anyway, I should have opened up the video with that, but yeah, this episode it's another Clinkin McCloud episode. Yeah, there are a lot of these. People like to complain about that. Personally, I don't care how many Clinkin McCloud episodes there are, so long as they are good. And for the most part, I have liked most of the Clinkin McCloud episodes. There are a few that are there are a few weak Clinkin McCloud episodes, but this one was pretty good, and it had a very good message. Let me just start from the beginning, as Dr. Wolf would say. I hope he's doing good. So anyway, this episode is about Lincoln and Clyde. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. I've had a long day today. So yeah, Lincoln and Clyde want to go to this space camp. So they beg their parents to drive them to space camp, but they think it's not all that cracked up to be. So they arrive, and after they convince their parents to go, Lincoln likes to do his standard presentations to convince his parents to do any particular thing. So I always appreciate that. That's a nice little gag. I do appreciate that gag a lot. So yeah. Anyway, this episode. Damn, my allergies are killing me. That's why I'm losing my train of thought, because I think my allergies are back. They're back, and they're out to get me. So yeah, they arrive at the camp. They do all kinds of activities, and so along the way they try they it turns out they're not really liking the camp. Like, for example, they try space food for the first time, and it's not very good. And I've seen space food in real life at like the Air and Space Museum in Washington D.C., and that's just nasty. It's space food is not great. I haven't tasted space food, but I know for a fact that it looks, obviously it looks like shit, but I know for a fact it tastes like shit as well. So yeah. And then they try sleeping upside down in cocoons for some reason, and yeah. So apparently that's reference to Alien, where let me see that again. Where yeah, that's those are like in direct reference to the alien cocoons from Alien. So yeah, and so at one point they actually tried to they they called both of their parents, and they realized that camp wasn't very it's not working out for them, and their parents are disappointed by that, but they arrive and pick them up anyway. So and before that, they actually tried to like break out with like a rover of some sort with that had like a drill. It was like a it was like a it was like a car with a drill on it, and so yeah, they I think one of the ways they try to sneak out is they go into this room, right, and they wind up in this rocket ship simulator. It's a flight simulator, and I've been in a flight simulator, by the way, in Chicago of all places, yeah, that Chicago trip in 2014. It had this museum that had a flight simulator that I did with one of my friends, and yeah, that was pretty crazy. So we flew around, and at one point we were upside down. I'm like, oh crap, what the hell am I supposed to do? So I did not expect that, but I tried to hurry up and make a decision before blood started rushing in my head. So the flight simulator, that was fun. I don't think I'd ever want to do something like that again, but it was fun. I remember it was just yesterday doing the flight simulator. So with my friend, and that was honestly kind of a blast. Despite the fact that I could get dizzy as all hell from doing that these days. That's exactly what Lincoln and Clyde did, but since it's a rocket ship flight simulator, it's a lot more intense than that. So, this scene has some of the best facial expressions in the series, honestly, and has great visuals, and it's this really intense situation to have to like stop the rocket ship from crashing into this like asteroid, and I think at one point the rocket ship fails, and they have to go outside the rocket ship to fix something from the outside, and then they go back in. At one point, I think they are able to save themselves from the asteroid, and they celebrate outside the rocket ship, and then the announcer lady or whatever says, "Now turning off zero gravity," and then and at that point they just fall to the floor. So fast forward to near the end. It turns out they actually really like that, and they want to keep on. They want to keeping on with the space camp. So Lincoln and Clyde's parents arrive, and then they admit to them that they realize that not sticking through was a bad decision. So in other words, they acted too quickly. They wanted to come home too quickly before they could, because their parents wanted them to stick it out, which is something that they didn't want to do. But after learning that space camp could be a great experience for them, turns out that they realized that their parents were right about the fact that they should have stuck the experience out a little more for them to be able to have a proper judgment on the whole experience in the first place. And so yeah, that's a really great lesson. And Lincoln and Clyde apologized, like, oh well, you drove all this way, so we hate to inconvenience you by making you drive all the way back without us. And their parents, they actually understand, and they let them stay in space camp. So yeah, that's pretty much how the episode ends. And like I said earlier in the video, this episode has a very interesting message, and it's actually very personal to the writer of the episode, Sammy Crowley. She had an entire Twitter thread about this, and basically this is sort of it's kind of sort of based on an experience that she had, where she tried to go to camp, and she was calling her parents, begging to come back home, and then like she did that like a few times, and then her parents were like, nope. So well, what else did the tweet say? So she said, end quote. I gotta stop clearing my throat so much in videos, but and she said, quote, it taught me a lot about sticking out a tough situation and trying to find the silver lining more in the worst of the two situations, knowing that bad things come to an end. I felt like camp with a space theme would be perfect for Lincoln and Clyde, and would also lend itself to a lot of fun visuals and gags. And a big shout out to my dear friend Taryn, who gave me tons of useful insight as a kid, and who did enjoy space camp, and who voices herself as the camp counselor. So yeah, that's another thing. There's a person that plays themselves in this episode. I forget what her name is. Taryn Van Silky. I don't know how you pronounce that name. If I'm butchering her name, then I apologize. But yeah, so I guess a lot more people. I guess a lot of people can relate to this. Even I can kind of relate to this a little bit, where I dealt with similar experiences where I went to like a trip or, or whatever. I can't remember specific examples, but I wanted to go visit someplace, and I wanted to come back home because, well, I just wanted to come back home, and then my parents were like, no, and so I don't think it went exactly like that, but I kind of relate to this situation, and I know some other fans of the show relate to this situation directly. Sunny Eclipse had said on Twitter that she related to this directly because, well, she, after going to college, she was very she was kind of reluctant on going to college. Well, I don't think it was that. She was just unsure if college was the right decision for her, and she basically was dealing with the exact same situation Lincoln and Clyde were. That she wanted to go back home, but she knew that she couldn't. She knew she had to press on and continue her experience at college. I think she's still in college. Um, yeah, I'm sure like I said, a lot of people can relate to this episode. I personally don't relate to it all that much, but a lot of people do, especially people who go, not just people who go to camp, but people who go away to any place, like whether it be camp or college. I don't know what the hell that was. Whether it be camp or college or any other place that a person goes to for a very long time. And so yeah, the point is, I know I'm babbling a lot, but the point is, the lesson in this episode is that you have to, if you try something out for the long term, then don't back out of it too quickly. You should stick it out and see how the whole experience is overall before you judge the whole experience, before you've even finished the experience. So yeah, that was a very long-winded version of the lesson, but I think I covered it pretty good. So yeah, overall I really like this episode. It's really good. And it has a unique setting, so because yeah, when this show has unique settings, that's always nice. And Carrie Walgren comes back, makes a comeback in the series. She plays the captain and the automated voice and girl number one. Yeah, she plays a couple of characters. I didn't realize that because her voice is kind of recognizable. I'd have to watch. Her voice is pretty recognizable. I'd have to watch the episode again in order to look out for her voice because I didn't recognize her the first time. So, all right. I am pretty much done with this review. If you liked this video, then don't forget to subscribe, like the video if you liked it, and ring the bell to be notified of future videos I make. And if you guys liked the episode, then let me know what you thought of it in the comment section below. And stay tuned for my next review. I'm reviewing some of the newest Casagrandes episodes that came out. So look forward to those. And yeah, those will be out tomorrow. So once again, I'm Alex Wimmer, aka AP3Jump. Thank you so much for watching. Until the end, that is it for me, and I will see you soon. Goodbye.